Thank you for watching again. Every week we talk about the stock markets or the financial markets, and we try to share what's happening in the market because we speak on a daily basis with investors, and we try to talk about sectors or about larger companies or about countries. And a couple of weeks ago we spoke about Colombia, where I was on holiday. And today we're going to talk about another country. It's a little bit more close by. It's in Europe, and it's the most important from an economical perspective country in Europe. So it is
Germany.
Yes.
Yes.
And it is not going well in Germany.
No.
Unfortunately. And because of the fact that it's the biggest economy in Europe, it has an impact on the rest of Europe. So what we're going to do today, we're going to share a lot of data with you, a lot of figures. So we have to look at our papers in front of us because we don't want to make mistakes. But we want to give you an insight of how the economy in Germany is doing at the moment and where it's coming from also, and what could be the solutions. That is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not too positive today.
It's not positive, no.
But it is objective.
Objective, yes. And the main driver was, of course, that yesterday the ECB they lowered the interest rates, and everybody thinks that's due to the inflation that is under control. But if you read further and you really start investigating, then you see that actually the main reason why the interest rates have been lowered is the fact that Germany is in big trouble, just what Casper was telling. And because Germany is under the pressure of getting into a recession, it is very likely, what I read from different analysts and different reports, that there will be another 2, maybe 3 rate cuts this year in Europe, just to make sure that Germany is not suffering too much. If you look at Germany as a country in itself, it's of course the largest economy in Europe of the 28 countries that are part of the EU. It's 5 times bigger than we're from the Netherlands, 5 times bigger than the economy of the Netherlands, 4 times smaller than the economy of the United States. Looking at growth, then you see that the growth for this year is only estimated 0.1%, which is obviously nothing. That is basically you're stagnating, and that's also one of the headlines: stagnation of the German economy. That's what you see in the newspapers. For next year, the expectation is that the economy will grow with 1.1%, which is also not extremely ambitious. And it's also fueled by a lot of bad and negative news from the most important industry in Germany, which is responsible for 30% of the GDP, which is the car industry. You have, of course, Volkswagen, you've got Mercedes, and you've got BMW.
And everything related, so the steel.
The steel. You have also companies like, and if you look at the DAX, you got Continental, which I will get back to in a second. There's a lot of companies that are related to that older economy, the car companies in this case. And we all know what China is doing. They made this massive shift from being like a real estate economy, to say it like that, what we talked about also in previous, like last year, maybe 2 years ago already, about Evergrande, etc. They have become the world's largest producer of electric cars, and they're suffering. They're really suffering. And
I think Germany is number 5 even now. It's Japan, it's China,
Korea possibly, with Hyundai and Kia, and
number 5 place, I think.
Yeah, so of course BMW is this week in the news, very badly in the news. They call it a luxury brand, but what they basically said is that the majority of the remainings of this year, they will be suffering. All their expectations were lowered. That was mainly due to the fact that almost 1.5 million cars, and one thing that you want to function in your car, of course, is the engine, but the other thing is the brakes. Because if you can't brake, you got a problem, and they have problems with the brakes, and the brakes are, in this case, delivered or provided by Continental, and so that's also a bad signal for another big German company. Of course, the news is out. The stock of BMW went down with almost 11% on Tuesday, down this year already with 30%. Volkswagen is not much better. They already also said they want to lay off people. They're going to take out specific clauses in the contracts of the people, so they can fire them, or they can lay off staff. So it's and also they had problems. It's normal for car companies that there's a production error or something like that. So in their case, in the United States, they had to call back the ID4, I think about 100,000. But in this case, BMW, we're talking about 1.5 million cars, and they're making a reservation of hundreds of millions of euros, and they need to take that money already. They need to take this in the 3rd quarter, so it's a big problem for BMW. And that is something that is, of course, affecting directly the whole German industry. So what is wrong with the German industry?
Now, yeah, the decline of the German industrial production and it was said by Robin Winkler from the Deutsche Bank yesterday. It's the biggest decline ever happened in Germany.
Since the fusion of the two parts.
So since the 90s. And also from ING, an analyst said, okay, but okay, something can go low, but he said, but it's not the lowest point yet because a lot of indicators show even a sharper decline. So if you look at the economy, we talked about the car industry that's suffering a lot, but also the machine producers year to date down 8%. Only the how to say it, the clothing industry and the
textile.
They are still producing on their maximum capacity. All the other industries are producing because of the lower demand, producing lower than a maximum capacity. More bankruptcies. Unemployment rates are increasing and the available jobs in the industry are decreasing. Now, where's it coming from? We split it up in two parts, the old economy and the new economy, because both economies have their problems, unfortunately. Now, the old economy, the analysts say, the only thing what you can do now to help is to give a high injection in the economy by the government. But in Germany, they already made the budget for 2025, and it was a really difficult creation, and they don't have any room for increasing spendings of the government. And so that's called the black point. It is impossible to increase the spending. So they think they know what to do, they want to do it, but they can't do it.
At the moment they need to do it.
Yeah, they need to do it. And it's also one example is that there was a plan by the government to give an injection of 5.5 billion euros to the production industry, so they could produce against lower energy prices. But the High Court they skipped it, or how do you say they canceled it. Canceled it. So that's also gone. So a lot of people accept that something needs to be done, but it's impossible.
Yeah, it's really difficult. And that's also then, if you want to reflect that or translate that to what to do with your German investments, of course.
Yeah, but I also want to do...
you're not done yet, sorry.
No, that was the old economy and the new economy.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. I was thinking about our script. I'm sorry.
What Germany did well, they attract a lot of battery producers in the last years. Because, of course, it's the new industry, also to export, but also it's, of course...
Have you seen what happened to the lithium price, by the way?
No.
It's completely down the drain.
Yeah.
And that's apparently because there's another technique with salt, something like that. It's much more effective.
And much more environment friendly.
Also, yes.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to talk about now. These companies.
So they wanted to attract battery companies, also for the car industry. Northvolt, the government was willing to give them 900 million, but probably that factory, it is on hold and probably it will be cancelled. ACC, it's a joint venture between Stellantis and Mercedes, which is also on hold. 500 million was the government willing to give to them. Chinese asphalt, 2 billion, it's cancelled. Chip producer Wolfspeed on hold, and it's a really large one. Intel had a plan to invest 30 billion euros in factories in Germany. 1/3 was supported by the government, but it's not going well with Intel. And this month, the board of directors is presenting a plan to the supervisory board, and the market thinks that one of the things that will be cancelled is this investment in Germany. So, to conclude, I think the old economy needs investments from the government, but that's because of the internal rules hardly impossible. And the new economy, they're not quite successful in that. So they need to change the strategy in that. It's a difficult, and unfortunately, because Germany. It's what you said, the
powerhouse
largest
of
economy from the 28th. So maybe it's already there. 20% went Volkswagen down this year. BMW 30%. Maybe this is already
the bottom point.
This is the bottom point because stock markets are normally in front of the economy.
Yeah.
Hopefully it is, but if you look at it from an economical perspective, it's really it's a difficult situation. But if you want to invest in it,
yeah, you can do it through an ETF, of course, and it's you know that, I hope. Or you could go also, if you want to go short in it, you can sell a CFD. So that's of course something that is high risk. You need to know what you're doing. If you want to know more about that, if you want to hedge your portfolio, maybe that will help you. So reach out to us, and we're more than happy to give you some guidance on what is best for you.
Yeah, sorry again to bring you a little bit negative news, but we want to bring objective news.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to do some really positive
Something
again.
happened. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Give us your time. See you next week.